Morning, Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. I'm Larissa, my video diary. I am convinced that the camera feature here on my phone has some sort of filter on it that I am unaware of. I think that there is some sort of I don't know, interference with my device. And because the way I look in this image is not the same way as I look when I look in the mirror, right? Like, I look more aged in this image than I do in the mirror. I can see the difference. And so a few years ago, Omar and I took some photos on the property. This was before I was attacked. And this was also before my Aunt Audrey died. I ordered a book of the photos to send to my Aunt Audrey because she was my Uncle Al's wife, and my Uncle Al was the last Morrow brother, and they had been on the farm, and last time I'd spoken, I was close to them, and we talked about farming and things, and having property, and they had 11 acres and we have 12 and a half, and I wanted to show her what our property looked like, and so that's why I made this photo book to send to her. Well, when the photo book came, after I ordered it, the photos had all been altered. They weren't the same photos. They were altered to make my face look like I had all these wrinkles all around my eyes that I don't have. And I don't understand. I don't understand why or who or why. Like, who's been given this kind of access, and why are they doing this to me? Right? Yeah. I think, and I think a part of this stems back to when I did when Audemars and I did the book Susanna's Revenge, the photo book that was about the demonizing of women and the role of figure model in art throughout history. It's also about the commodification of women's bodies and the objectification and the subjectification of women. So, like, throughout history, there's these pieces of artwork that are held up as masterpieces, right? That are nudes. And the reality is that live models posed for these pieces. And the live model has always been part of art and art process. And prudish people vilify this role and make the human body something dirty as opposed to the reality of what we have, right? So the sculpture is art, but the woman who posed for it, whose body it represents, is a slut, right? Is dirty. And it was a juxtaposition. Plus, I had been through and continue to go through situations where, I've been accused of being, dubious in some way when I'm not, right? Yeah. So that's why we did. Well, that's what this book, this photo book that I did, and I used myself as model because I couldn't afford to pay a model and put a model up on location where we were shooting, right? And people got shitty about it. Anyway, to prepare for this, like I'd been doing laser hair removal with Laser Away. Um, um, I didn't know that they had a service called body sculpting. And in the credits, I credited them, even though they didn't give me anything for free, and they were horrible. They were a horrible organization. But this was we did this book after Kim Kardashian like did a whole bunch of photos with her fake ass, literally fake ass, and she was spokesmodel for Laser Away and for their cool sculpting. I didn't know anything about any of this because all I did was the laser hair removal. And, I didn't have like all of my hair removed, it was just, legs, armpits, bikini line kind of thing is what I had done. Um, as opposed to getting waxed or shaving. So anyway, I credited them and then I sent them a copy. Well, I think this pissed off Miss Kardashian because the other thing that I posted that I put in this was also the book was also about the fallacy of photoshopping, right? And the way photos were touched. So all of the photos that are in that book, Susanna's Revenge, are totally untouched. They might be slightly cropped, but that is the only editing that may have happened. And my goal, most of them, my goal was to not even crop them. This is what the photos has been captured inside of the camera kind of thing, right? And it was about having a natural body. Well, since then, I've been attacked by a transgender man. And I think that this was repercussions from that community because of the Kardashians. And I have some disfigurement as a result, like my body has changed as a result of the attack. Whatever was in that needle physically changed my body. And I attempted to have some correction done, and I priced stuff out, and I ended up going back to Laser Away, and I was like, okay, well, let's try this cool sculpting. Well, the cool sculpting has left me more deformed. So, Laser Away, Scott Heckman, Laser Away is a shisty company. The Kardashians are gross, and people are shitty. But it's like then there are these other instances where photos of, like I said, photos of mine have been altered in printing or whatever through the Google Photos platform. And I've had photos stolen off of there as well. Photos deleted out of my account. So like there's precedence for my devices being compromised and monitored. Um, yeah. I've had passwords changed on me. You know, somebody has when I had the space in Saratoga, when I had the gallery space in Saratoga, um, I had there were a number of instances where my passwords were changed, and there was a time. So there was a restaurant that was next door. What the hell was that place called? Darla Cafe, open next door, and um, the woman who is supposedly the owner was a real bitch. Came over and was shitty with me the one day, so I was like, I'm not coming over there. She was shitty with me because um, I emailed the landlord when there was somebody who came into my unit when they were doing something with the internet and stuff in her space that adjoined to mine. And they left up a sticker with a gang tag on it. And I reported it to the police. And then she got all shitty with me about, because whatever they did to the electrical that they were doing, the electrical and the internet that they were doing, it turned off my cameras, my security cameras. And I was like, hey, to the landlord, they're doing something with the electric and it's fucking with my electric. Is there stuff on my breaker that is connected to their space because, you know, they don't get to have access to my space? And she came over all shitty, right? And after that, a number of times, my stuff was accessed and passwords to sites, websites, and things were changed. Yeah. So, like, I know this shit's possible. Just nobody ever gives a shit that it happens to me, right? So, and that cookbook was stolen, and then content from that cookbook was used in Meghan Markle's Netflix cooking show. Content from that cookbook, and then for like stuff from my magazine. Yeah. But see, like, okay, like right now, then there's been a change. So sometimes, like in the video, it looks like I have wrinkles in my lip, right? Right now, it's not showing that because I don't have them. When I look in the mirror, they're not there. But it's like there's a filter that's on it that makes it look like my mouth is puckered old lady mouth. But it doesn't actually exist that way. And I don't understand, right? Like, I'm 47. I don't hide that I'm 47. I don't lie about my age like some people do. And yeah, I'm talking about you, Megan. You lie about your age. You lie about your age. You're like a year or two older than me, I believe. Yet you've gotten younger and younger, haven't you? When your age has been talked about publicly. So, like, I don't, I'm fat, I'm middle aged, and I do have some deformity from the attacks that have happened to me. I don't pretend to be a beauty queen. I don't particularly um, I don't particularly enjoy getting uh, comments on my appearance. People telling me I'm beautiful does not make me feel good about myself, right? Because number one, I know I'm not, so it's patronizing. And number two, that has nothing to do with my personal self-worth. My physical appearance has never had anything to do with my personal self-worth. And the work that I do is you know what brings me satisfaction, right? Like I'm not I'm not a vanity queen, and I never have been, you know? It's like in Oakland, they used to hack up my hair at the salon. I had that happen so many times. And I'm just like, whatever. So I shaved it down. And they'd cut big chunks out of my hair. Eventually, I just quit going. The reason my hair's long now is I just quit going to the salon because I'm like, oh, they just keep hacking my hair off, and I didn't really want a buzz cut, you know. I mean, I could pull one off then when I was thinner. I wouldn't be able to pull it off now, but I was able to pull it off when I was thinner, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can live with that. That's all right. I wouldn't want to wear it now, right? But I just don't understand the um attacks on my physical appearance in that way. And I don't understand I don't believe in using filters and shit like that, right? Or if you do use that stuff, it should be required that um, it is listed in your credits or something that this is an altered image, and you know right now there's a radio campaign, text something something something, text parent to something 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 if your kids have been damaged, psychologically damaged by social media, and they're talking specifically about body image and things, because evidently, and they're saying because these companies knew that this had this power, blah blah blah, but that is what sells, and so now there's like this two generations of of women, young women, of girls who have severe body dysmorphia disorders and eating disorders and shit because of the fallacy of physicality and social media. Yeah. So, like, if AI has been used to alter your images, if you've used filters, if, anything like that, I think you should be required by law to say that. And that was also part of what that book, Susanna's Revenge, was about, right? And I mean, so the thing is, the thing about Susanna, who is Susanna? Susanna is, or Shoshana, is a story from the Old Testament about a young woman who is being coveted by two lecherous older men, and she is out in her courtyard where her bathing pool is, and she's there by herself while bathing, and is approached by these two lecherous men. And it's like they're two elders. It's like a rabbi and a uh uh oh gosh, it begins with an S. The word, I'm having a brain fart right now. Anyway, they approach her and they proposition her sexually, and she rebuffs them. And because of being rebuffed, they tell everybody that she's been inappropriate with them and has tried to seduce them, right? When they're the ones who were being voyeuristic and peeping on her while she's bathing, right? Gross. So they put her to death because that's the way it is, kind of thing. And so it's this story of men accusing women who they have sexual desire for of trying to seduce them, right? Like this story of and so this whole issue, that's what all of these filters and stuff are for, and all of these ASMR videos and these horrible videos of girls in their little gym workout outfits, bending over so you see their butt, and when you go out in public and they're wearing the weird little panty shorts and all this stuff, that's all this is. It's commodification and objectification, sexualization, over sexualization of the female body, commodification of the female body. And so that's why I did that book, Susanna's Revenge, and it was in opposition to Kim Kardashian and the Kardashian aesthetic and the Kardashian lifestyle, as well as like the sex book that Madonna did, which I thought was just totally gratuitous and gross. And was when she did that book, that's when I stopped really wanting to listen to her music back in the 90s. The sex book. I just thought it was gratuitous. Yeah. So anyway, that's why I did this book, Susanna's Revenge, and that scene from the Bible, from the Old Testament, is depicted by a lot of painters. There's a lot of famous paintings of that scene, and so the book is recreation, photographic recreation of classic pieces of art, including Susanna in her garden. Yeah. People have been shitty about that ever since. Oh, Larissa, are you a stripper? Oh, you just think you're so good looking, blah blah. No. I just couldn't afford to pay somebody who was good looking to do it. I used myself. Those weren't self-portraits at all. So, anyway, yeah, vanity. Vanity. I've never been a vain person in that way. Mm-mm. Although vanity can express itself in different ways. And I do um, concern myself with, and um, I do concern myself with not being vain about other things, like like my work. I try not to be vain about my work. I try to be respectful of the history and lineages that have led up to my modern interpretations and understanding of the mediums that I express myself through, right? Like you can have intellectual vanity. Yeah, you can. You can. And I try not to be that kind of person either. But I could see myself falling victim to that long before I would fall to physical vanity. Look at him. He's all clean. He went to the groomer yesterday. He's all silky. You silky boy. Are you silky boy? He is. Yeah. Yeah, and that book, Susanna's Revenge, that photo essay. So I used CreateSpace to publish it, and I put it for sale at $50 a copy on Amazon. And Amazon, without asking my permission, marked it down to $25. And so copies of that book sold, and I never got the royalties for them. So Jeff Bezos is a fucking pimp. And he's married to a lollipop head Katrina. It's gross. They're both disgusting. Yeah, I still shop on Amazon. Everybody fucking does. Like you have to get some things. Like you can't go to stores anymore and find anything you're looking for. The selection that you have in stores is so. Some of the stuff I see in stores, I'm like, who the fuck buys this? Because I don't know. Anyway, I hope I get into the gallery to get some work done today.